All right, everybody. Welcome back to the DI Feed Rundown. Now, I'm going to read to you today's episode. So, first thing, we have this at the cold open intro. We have our topic of the week. Today's topic of the week is Survivor. We're excited to show you that. We're going to move from that to our clip of the week. We're going to have a little album review of Damn by Kendrick Lamar, which I'm excited to show y'all. Then we are going to move onto our comedy clip of the week. We have a cyclist application sketch that I'm excited to show y'all. Then we're going to kind of wind it down. We have some DI Feed updates. We're also going to share our DI Feed mission statement video. We published that a couple months ago, but for those of you who haven't seen it, excited to show you. Then we're going to close it out with our quote of the week. So stay tuned. Hope you'll enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the DI Feed Rundown topic of the week. Now, today's topic is a hit show on CBS called Survivor. For those of you who have not seen Survivor, it's kind of like Love Island for outdoorsy people. So the whole idea of the show is they have 18 contestants. They throw them on a random tropical island. They have no food. They have to build their own shelter. And every week they vote somebody out. So the whole idea of the show is to survive. So I've watched this show with my dad since I was a little kid. And when I was 5, we got a golden retriever puppy. And we loved the show so much that we decided to name our puppy after our favorite contestant. Now, our favorite contestant was Ozzy. Ozzy was a competition beast. We loved Ozzy. He was so much fun to root for. Never won, but great contestant. Now, Ozzy the dog died. He left us about 4 years ago. And it was very sad. But when he died, I decided to look up the contestant we named him after because I hadn't thought about it in years. So I looked him up, and I was surprised to find out he had decided to become a male OnlyFans model, which he has every right to. No judgment from me, but it's just a little hard to wrap your head around the fact that you named your childhood dog after a male OnlyFans model. Now, quick tangent. One of my favorite clips from the show ever is there's a guy named Jeff Kent who, for those of you who know baseball, know Jeff Kent is like a Hall of Fame baseball player. He tremendously successful, and after he retired from the MLB, he decided to go play Survivor. Now, when he got voted out, sadly, they usually do like this 30-second interview clip where they ask the contestant how the newly voted out contestant how they're feeling. And when he got voted out, he had one of the best answers I've ever heard. So I'm going to play that clip for you right now because I don't do it justice.
What pisses me off is I think I've made about $60 million playing baseball, and I want this freaking $1 million in this game. And it's not even $1 million. It's 600 grand by the time Obama takes it. I'm a Game 7 World Series loser. You know, I've played in the biggest games in the world and the worst games in the world, but this just sucks.
So now that we've played that clip, I'm going to talk about when I was when I was 10 or 12 age range. I remember watching this contestant who he had lost a considerable amount of weight. He had a bad foot infection. He was crying on the camera, and rightfully so. He's going through a bad psychological experience. And I remember, as I got older, I remember thinking about that, going, gosh, I just feel bad for that guy because you're sitting there, you have no food, so you've lost a considerable amount of weight. You have no, good way to sleep, and there's just a camera crew following you around the entire time. That's got to be tough. Do you ever think they get annoyed that they're crashing out on camera, and then there's just a cameraman doing a zoom in close up of them and going, okay, let's zoom in on the foot infection. Great shot there. Now zoom out, because remember the goal is to get them to look like Tom Hanks in Castaway. Do you think they ever get annoyed when they yell cut? It's a cameraman going, gosh, it's so hot here. Hot out here. Hey, can somebody give me a Diet Coke, please? God, it's hotter than hell out here. So there's that. But every week, at the end of every episode, they have to vote somebody out. And they do this at Tribal Council. Now, Tribal Council, to me, is it's just kind of glorified group therapy. So every week, all the tribe goes together, and they decide to vote one person out. And so there's a guy there. His name is Jeff Probst, who's been on the show for, I believe, the entire time. And he's got if you don't know Jeff Probst, he's like a Walmart version of Paul Rudd. It's a good television show host, but he's like a Walmart version of Paul Rudd. And so he's trying to figure out what's going on. So he's like going, so what is wrong, guys? And everybody's just trying to blame everybody but themselves. It's amazing. And there's so much, like, it's backstabbing. There's people just absolutely stunned that they got voted out. It's incredible to watch people realize they lost out on $1 million because somebody they told information to was the person you should not have told information to. Now, if you have not seen the show, it's a great show. It's on CBS. That is it for this DI feed topic of the week. We hope y'all enjoyed it. If you agreed with the take, let us know. If you didn't, let us know. All right, on to the next segment, guys. All right, welcome back to Clip of the Week. Now, this episode's Clip of the Week is from a Canadian Parliament member, I believe, who was reading a speech and he forgot to take out a certain part of the speech that maybe was not written by a human. So we're going to play that clip for you right now.
One of the dangers associated with creating advocacy offices is that citizens often develop expectations that exceed the powers actually granted to those offices. Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech rather than a series of short points. Madam Speaker, one of my concerns with this legislation is the potential gap between what New Brunswickers may reasonably expect this office to accomplish and what the office will actually have the authority to do.
Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech rather than a series of short points.
Hello, everybody. This is usually the part of the episode where we have a guest to talk to, whereas previously we've had one of my good friends, Daniel, join us and my cousin Chase. So unfortunately for this week's episode, we were not able to get a guest, but in the end, not the end of the world, because I today, to fill the time, have decided to talk about one of my favorite albums, and one of, I not think, the best albums ever created. I am, of course, talking about Damn by Kendrick Lamar. Now, why I love this album so much. So I'm going to show the track list for you right here. So as you can see, it starts with Blood, goes all the way down to Duckworth. Now, this album is kind of talking about going from sin and pride all the way down to God is where we kind of desire to be. It's a really album about just kind of like how humanity is kind of messed up in ways and all the things we do to each other that are pretty messed up. And if you really want a good description on this album, there's a guy named Tennis Tom on YouTube who did a great like hour-long, almost like documentary analyzation into every one of the songs. He also did it for Kendrick Lamar's other album, Missed Him Around the Big Steppers. He does a great job. I would strongly recommend looking him up. So what my perception of this album is there's a story behind the album. And the story is, so Kendrick Lamar's father was working at a KFC. Now, there was a guy named Top Dog who would go and rob the KFC. So Kendrick Lamar's dad would, in order to keep the robber happy, would give him free chicken and other things. So the robber named Top Dog, decided not to rob the KFC anymore. Now, years go by. Kendrick Lamar's father has Kendrick. Kendrick Lamar signs a record deal with Top Dog Entertainment. And he takes his father into the studio one day, and they realize the conundrum, or like they realize the occurrence that happened. And it's one of the craziest stories. So Kendrick wrote this album based off of this, how it went from sin to God, or humanity to God. Now, you may think, oh, that's a great story. But there's another side of this. So Kendrick released a collector's edition of this album, which is, I think, in my opinion, this is the greatest album of all time. It's amazing. So he released a collector's edition where he completely flipped it. It's called Nemad, so it's these reversed. And when I tell you about the album, it's pretty much the alternative to what if Kendrick's dad had been shot by Top Dog? Meaning he would have been raised without a father, he would have fallen into sin, and how bad would his life have become if those interactions went the other way. Now, it's just one of the most like crazy world turner around emotionally aware albums that the more I listen to it, the more I love it. It's just a great album. My favorite song on the album is Fear. It's just it's a great song. Like one of my favorite lyrics is it goes fear losing creativity. I'm talking fear of missing out on you and me because and then like etc. It goes because my DNA won't let me evolve in the light of God. It's just a great lyrically sound song. Kendrick Lamar is probably my favorite artist. So I'm not gonna spend too much more time going through this today. I thank you for watching my brief little summary of my favorite album because you know what people want to hear. It's a white guy talking about hip hop. So thank you very much. Now we're moving on to the next part of the episode where we have made a little comedy clip for you. So we hope you enjoy. Here it is. Come in. Go. Hi, I want to get my cyclist certification. Just need to answer a short questionnaire. Please sit down. Go. How difficult is the questionnaire? As difficult as starting a podcast, so don't worry about it. Now, question 1, why do you want to become a cyclist? Is it for your health and wellness, social belonging, or do you want to brag to your family and friends? I would definitely say bragging to friends and family is the main reason. Now, question 2, when you go cycling, what will you wear? Will you wear like normal gym shorts and a t-shirt, or are you going to wear super tight clothing that exposes every part of your body? Definitely like short, tight clothing that exposes my entire body. Question 3, where will you ride? Will you ride on the sidewalk, the main road, or the bike lane? Yes, I'll definitely go on the main road every time. I'll never bike in the sidewalk or the bike lane. Now, will you follow the traffic laws on the main road, like stopping at a 4-way stop? No, absolutely not. When you run that stop sign and a 2-ton SUV nearly hits you, what will your reaction be? I'll definitely look at them as if they were trying to hit me, even though it was an honest mistake. You have officially passed the test and have earned your cyclist certification. Now, this comes with 2 things. It comes with a spray water bottle and an Apple Watch so you can record all your cycling stats. Now remember, always post your cycling stats, even though nobody asked for it. Hello everybody, welcome back to DI Feed Updates. Now, we're very excited this week to share with you some things we update on the platform this week. So a big thing we added this week is we added a promote page. So you may be asking, what is the promote page? The promote page is pretty much on the platform when you post an article, let's just say, and you want to share it with your friends. It's pretty much just a bigger, grander version of what a share feature is. So you go to the promote page below your account on the side profile there below your account, and you click promote. And now you can click the article that you wrote. We're trying to add if you want to promote somebody else's articles, but that's kind of down on the priority list right now. And if you want to share your article on LinkedIn, Twitter, any social platform you really want to, you can copy the link and paste it into there. We're also excited to share with you that it now has it now generates a QR code for every article. So if you want to post it around somewhere, you have the ability to do that. So we're very excited to share that with you. We've also spent time fixing bugs and issues. We know earlier this week we got some of your requests about your post feature not working. We're very happy to report that has been fixed. So we thank you for giving us your suggestions. If you who are visiting the site for the first time or have been visiting the site, please feel free to reach out to us at di@difeed.onmicrosoft.com. So we thank all of you who have been trying to help us make the site a little bit better. I just want to tell you, thank you to all who have been using it and going on the conversation boards. It means the world to me and to all of us here. So I just want to say thank you for that. That is it for this week's DI Feed Updates. We're on to the next segment.
It starts with an idea you can't shake. So you sketch it out, design something real. You begin to hope people understand the architecture, hope it changes how we map information, hope it alters how we connect. But hope is a funny word. Hope is passive. It sits there staring blindly at a screen. Meanwhile, tools engineering our attention are built to confirm our beliefs. We fall into silent digital rhythms, drifting through feedback loops that only mirror our own biases, until predictive models completely stop us from seeing different perspectives. The truth is, we are all flawed human beings trying to make sense of the world. That's where belief changes things, because belief forces execution. That's why the iFeed exists, not to change your beliefs or your opinions, but to let you see the other side. Step outside the loop and rebuild a real conversation, because understanding begins where agreement ends. Welcome to the iFeed.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quote of the Week. This episode's Quote of the Week is from Hall of Fame New York Yankees shortstop Derek Jeter. Now, Derek Jeter, from his documentary about 4 years ago, had this great quote that I want to share with y'all. It's titled, "Loyalty one way is stupidity." Now, I just think it's a great quote because it's just something we can all relate to. And so I just want to end this week's episode with that. We want to say thank you for watching. Again, we're trying to make this show or make this rundown better every week for y'all. So we thank y'all for watching, for all the support we've gotten. I just want to say I'm very grateful to all of you. Have a great week, everybody.